and we are not predicting, we are reacting, guys, to the round of 16 draw that was just made today. I don't know when it's going to come out. It might come out a day after. But yes, guys, we are reacting to the draw. Before we get started, let me mention all 8 draws that were made. So the first name that came out of the hat was Porto versus Arsenal, PSG versus Real Sociedad, PSV versus Borussia Dortmund, Copenhagen versus Manchester City, Napoli versus Barcelona. Ooh, yeah. Inter
Yep.
Milan versus Atletico Madrid. I'm really, really looking forward to that. Lazio against Bayern Munich and RB Leipzig against Real Madrid. I feel like that's a fixture that we always seem to get to. But Jack, again, we're not predicting. We're more just looking forward to the draw, as in it is almost 2 months away. How do you feel, Jack, looking at this draw overall for all 8 games?
I really like it. My big thing, James, I think you know this about me, is I don't like it. Like the draw would suck for me if it was PSG versus Real Madrid, Bayern versus Inter, Arsenal versus Atlético. Do you know what I mean? I want
Yeah.
those in semis. I want those in finals. I want those in quarterfinals. Right? I don't need them in the first knockout round. So in that respect, I'm pretty happy. You're always going to get one or two reasonably big ones. So Napoli, Barca, okay. I mean, neither team is killing it at the moment, so I don't know how special that one's going to be. Historically, that's obviously very special. And, Inter versus Atletico will be very, very interesting. But, James, apart from that, I'm reasonably content with the fact that in each game, I feel like there is a clear favourite over the two legs. And hopefully that clear favourite will get in so that we get some really nice matchups for the next one. No disrespect to these teams, but if I see Copenhagen in the next round, or Lazio in particular in the next round, or Sociedad or somebody like that in the next round, I'm going to be just a little bit disappointed. I think as much as the Inter versus Atletico one really really catches my eye. James, I'm fascinated by Porto Arsenal. I really am, because obviously Arsenal are back in the Champions League, and it looks like they haven't really skipped the beat, which is really really cool. But what do we know about the Portuguese league, right? If you're an agent of an up and coming player who at some point is going to be on big money, getting a big transfer fee move to a big team, what's a league that you usually drop by before you go to the Premier League, before you go to Spain? Players, the masses, let's call it the masses in Europe, in the world, will maybe not have heard of or aren't super familiar with, but will be able to showcase their skills at the Emirates and in Porto as well when they do the home leg. So really excited for Porto Arsenal.
Yeah, Jack, I like, as you mentioned, there are a lot of interesting fixtures down. I'm just going to touch on my team first. This is Arsenal's first round of 16 games since what, 2017. So Jack, it's been a
And
really long time. So it's good to be back in the knockout stages. Interesting enough, let me give you guys another fun fact. The last time Arsenal won a round of 16 game was in 2010. And who did we in Jack? Who did we beat to knockout? It was Porto. Yes,
I was
yes, it
no
was.
way.
So it was Porto. We lost 2-1 away from home, and then we took them back to the Emirates with a bunch of injuries, 1-5 nil. Sami Nasri, Nicholas Bettner scored a hat trick that day. So just think about that. That's just a little bit of trivia for you. So we've
Yeah,
had some
Lord,
really, really tough draws in recent years, but the
Lord,
last time we were able to go
Lord
through
Bentman.
Lord Bettner was against Porto. Is this a game that Arsenal fans, is this a fixture that Arsenal fans don't mind? Yeah, of course. Porto away. We believe that we can go ahead and win. But it is also a difficult fixture there, Jack. You mentioned, Jack, the talent level there. Portugal always seem to produce these talents to just come out of nowhere and just hit world
Yep.
football. And like thinking about just hit world football with a big bang. Last season, Jack, we last season in the Europa League, Jack, we went out to a Portuguese team in Sporting Lisbon, and I won't be surprised again if like Porto can put one on Arsenal, because Jack, you know the capabilities of them. So that's definitely going to be a fixture where one team is going in favourites, but it's definitely a banana skin and also may be on upset alert. Another fixture there that Jack I want to look at is PSG versus Real Sociedad, Jack. But the way PSG have been this year, it's just been up and down, and it's it's not convincing. And I remember when they let Neymar walk out the door and it seemed like he was sort of the problem. I don't think that they're anywhere near the same level of team without him. And like seeing just the players like Koulibaly hasn't seemed to settle in. Um, um, as much. Who's the Portuguese striker? Trying to
Gonçalo Ramos.
Gonzalo Ramos, he hasn't really settled in as well. And Mbappe is always pulling out some issues, or he's not happy with this. He's not like happy with that. We've seen what they were like against Newcastle. We've seen how they struggled, Jack, to go through. Jack, the only reason why they went through was a head-to-head with AC Milan. They finished level
Right.
on points to them, so it wasn't like this whole thing where they were able to dominate. And I look at a team like Real Sociedad, and I think, Jack, I will not be surprised. That game, especially to me, should be on upset alert because I will not be
Yeah.
surprised if like Sociedad can beat a team like PSG. But again, Jack, PSG obviously goes there. Its favorites Borussia Dortmund against PSV. Expect Borussia Dortmund to go through their PSV again. The issue with PSV and also just the whole of the Eredivisie right now, the league isn't strong, Jack. Yeah,
No.
there's one or two dominant teams there, and and obviously they stand out in the league. But when they go against the big boys, we've seen in Jack in Europe, they haven't been able to dominate. Fair play to Feyenoord or been able to do well in the Conference League or for instance in the Europa League, but in the Champions League, it doesn't seem to relate.
You bringing that up just to hurt me. Is that what's going on?
Sorry.
Also, we're not going to touch on this, but who did Roma draw in the Europa League today as well? Feyenoord again. It's unbelievable, dude. Sometimes I do legitimately think it's rigged. Like I actually, part of me's thinking, oh, I wonder who the referee for the game's going to be. Oh, it's going to be Anthony Taylor again, probably.
But again, a game that we expect Borussia Dortmund to win.
Yep.
Copenhagen, Man City. Don't really need to say much there. That's
They were kind of impressive though, I think, in the group stand. I mean, don't get me wrong. Manchester United conceded what, 15 goals or some, I think there was some record they got for conceding goals, but a group with Manchester United and Galatasaray. Again, I know it's such a cliche, but going away to Turkey, very few teams have like winning records away at Turkey. So I think there's something about this Copenhagen team, and obviously the way Man City have been doing recently, drawing at home against Palace and this kind of thing. I'm not saying that's going to be on upset alert. I fully expect Man City to go through on that one, but I think, James, all these teams are here for a reason. There's a lot of teams who aren't here who you might be thinking, oh my god, I can't believe that they're out, and there's a reason why these guys are. James, we it feels like because they haven't won it every single year for a little while here, Real Madrid quietly plugging away here. Is Jude Bellingham the best player in the world? David Alaba, ACL injury recently. How much do we think Real Madrid are going to win this competition? I mean, Leipzig is a favourable draw. I believe that the way that the draw's been done, the second leg's at the Bernabeu, right? So you'd imagine Real Madrid will be through to the next round. Who's your favourites at the moment?
Jack. It's mad
It's
because
tough,
I feel like the easy thing for everybody to say is City. But as you can see
right?
this year, City haven't been at the same. Let's see what happens like when Kevin De Bruyne comes back because he's honestly a serious game changer there. But I just don't see them, Jack, going back to back. There's only one team in Jack in the last 20 to 30 years who've been able to go back to back, and that's Real Madrid. Bar that, Jack, we've seen some legendary teams. I mean, your Barcelonas, Inter Milan's, Bayern Munich's, teams who were unbelievable but weren't able to go back to back. So if they're able to do that, fair play to them. I look at a team like Bayern Munich going forward, Jack. It's devastating. Honestly, it's devastating. And when, like with the addition of Harry Kane there, that was to me the difference between them and Man City last year. One team had a striker, Erling Haaland. The other team had Choupo-Moting. No disrespect to Choupo-Moting, but Jack, there's levels to this. You know what? My issue with them is defensively. Granted, they got Manuel Neuer back and Jack. That is big there. But I look Upamecano. If he has a bad night, the whole tie can be over in that Jack
Right.
in that one night. And you've seen what it was like against City last year. Real Madrid are Real Madrid. The respect level should always be there. Too many injuries for my liking. I don't think PSV have the firepower to win this whole tournament. I don't think Barcelona are good enough to win this tournament. If I'm
No,
being honest, and I look at Arsenal and I just question our European pedigree. In recent years in the Europa League, Jack, we've been able to go out with teams like Sporting Lisbon, who who knocked us out a few years ago. Olympiacos, a number of teams have been able to outdo this Arsenal team, and it's our first time in knockout stage in God knows how many years. So I just don't see us being able to navigate our way all the way to the final. So you're looking at Real Madrid, Man City, or Bayern Munich. Inter Milan is a team that I do believe that it's going to be a tough out for any team in like two legs, and probably their worst draw is to get an Atletico Madrid. But if they can get through that, Jack, if you're Man City, you don't want to see Inter Milan in two legs. If you're Real Madrid, to be fair, Real Madrid they don't mind them. Like Real Madrid don't mind them. Inter Milan, no, Bayern Munich, it might be a struggle for them. So that's a team right now that are looking at my dark horses. But
Bayern look complacent to me. That's my thing, right? The final group stage game against Manchester United wasn't good by any stretch of the imagination, like at all. Manchester United were just really, really bad. Obviously, was it Eintracht Frankfurt? I think before put five past them. I think it was 5-1. So that's not good. James, I do want to touch on Inter, right? Inter are this interesting kind of dark horse team as we're going into the Champions League. And it's because a lot of their better players, James, are older and more experienced. So as much as Andre Onana was great in the Champions League last year, he's not there anymore, right? Jan Sommer has had to come in and kind of take over. And after his experience in the Bundesliga as well, he's now playing in a different league where it's a bit more structured. But, he's in his mid-30s, but he's experienced. Somebody like Asherby as well is experienced and there. And James, the attack is clicking. Marcus Thuram looks great. He looks the part. He's
Jack,
creating.
every time I watch him, he does
Yeah.
something that makes me say, "Oh my days!"
Oh my God. Who's
I
his
thought
dad?
Lissandro Martinez and like Lukaku had a great partnership. These two,
Yep.
yeah, Thuram and Martinez right now, they're working as good as they did. Honestly, Jack.
Well, then throw Hakan Çalhanoğlu, right? Who I'm sure feels like he has a point to prove and has probably feels like he's been forgotten about amongst Europe's elite from attack stroke midfield kind of position. And James, Henrik Mkhitaryan, again, similar guy. These are kind of chip on their shoulder guys paired with a little bit of experience, some serious players who are playing out of their skin at the moment, like DeMarco as well for Inter. But that combined with the experience, James, they're not going to blow anybody away, but they're capable of scoring and they're capable of defending. They can play against anybody and they'll be in any game. So I just top team with aspirations to try and win the whole thing. Inter Milan is not a team you want to come up against.
I just think that they got the worst draw from the point of view that they have a team who have a similar mentality to them.
Right.
That's going to be very
Gritty.
good. Gritty is Jack is a word there. And when you have a player
Right.
like Antoine Griezmann playing to the level that he was playing a few years ago, Morata, who's actually the top scorer in the Champions League this season right now. Teams
Same.
like both teams play very similar. Granted, Inter play three at the back. What's Atletico Madrid almost play like a 4-4-2, but a very rigid 4-4-2. This that fixture alone is going to be very, very interesting to watch. There, I would have loved if they were able to avoid each other because them coming up against any other team, any other top team would have been a very, very interesting out for both teams.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. Like I said, summary to conclude. Love the fact we haven't got any major big hitters against each other. Napoli, Barcelona, I really can live with. Even Inter, Atletico Madrid, I can kind of live with. The fact that Bayern, Man City, Real Madrid, Arsenal, these teams have all been separated. All sounds good to me as we get to the later knockout rounds.
But guys, I want to ask you guys, any upsets there? How how are you feeling, man? Like Man City fans, how you feeling? Arsenal, we're back in. How you feeling about Porto? Barcelona fans, I want to hear from you because you got a tough draw, but like, do you feel confident that like guys, you're gonna go through Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Dortmund, PSG? So Scott, everybody, we want to hear from you. What do you think, guys, about this draw? Comment down below, and who do you guys think is going to win. Please like, share, and subscribe, guys. This is Box to Box Football, and we will see you next time.